this is it, folks. Been a long time. I've been wanting to start on this, and what better time than now? This is my 1990 Plymouth Laser RS Turbo. Just a little info on the 90 Laser Turbos. They, for the 90 and 91 model years for the Plymouth Laser, they only came front-wheel drive. So yes, unfortunately, this is not an all-wheel drive car. However, it is pretty much the highest line laser that you could get for 90. So it wasn't really decked out. It didn't have a sunroof. They didn't come with a spoiler, but as you'll be able to tell, I've put a Talon spoiler on it, and I do intend to keep the Talon spoiler just because of the way I like the way that it looks. The plans for the car, I've set a big goal. I don't know what it's going to take. I've talked about it maybe once or twice before. I don't know what it's going to take. However, my plan is to do whatever I have to get a partnership to work with somebody to get the car to SEMA. I don't know how long it's going to take. I don't know. I might be able to do it fast. I might be able to do it, by next year. I don't know. However, starting on it now, I actually hit a huge milestone on my own. It's just a small feat, but I did get an air compressor for the shop now, so I can do all my body work, paint, anything that I need to that required air. Now I'm able to do it. So it's a huge step forward for me, and that's really going to help me get this done, get the paint job on the RX-7 done, get the Eddy Lightning, get the body work done on that thing, get the rust repair done. It's just going to be such a helping hand to be able to use my air tools that I've had, and I just couldn't use them because I haven't had an air compressor for almost 10 years. So, well, I wouldn't say that. It's definitely been 5 or 6 years though. So yeah, I'm going to work on the front subframe I've had dropped out. I actually did that here in the garage, and this car used to sit over here in the corner back before I had the lift and the workbench and everything up here. However, that's been out for a while. I'm going to go through and clean it. I have all the bushing kit for this car. I don't know if it has subframe bushings or not. However, whatever it doesn't have, I'll probably make or see if I can source. Work on dropping out the rear controller. It's like a mono beam, a flex beam. Drop that out, drop the fuel tank, and then drop the rest of the brake lines and fuel lines. And pretty much the bottom side, there isn't a whole lot of work to do to it. I've got a couple spots of rust repair that I need to do, and I'll show those. But really, it's just a matter of cleaning it up really well, go through and degrease the bottom side, get it all ready to maybe, I think I might undercoat it, just go through, degrease it all really well, do that, then paint the engine bay, paint the door jambs, and then move on to the actual, the body of the car. So shouldn't really, I don't want to jinx myself, it in theory shouldn't take long. The biggest thing that I would like to have for the car that I don't have right now is my coilovers. The car did have coilovers, but I sold them to a friend of mine. So that's a goal right now, is to get a set of coilovers for it. However, I do have wheels now. They are a set of used drag. They are DR31 17x9s that I don't know if they'll be the long-term wheel for the car. However, I definitely want to put those on this car, get some tires for it. Suspension, tires. I have a transmission that was in the car that is broken. The housing is broken where the throwout bearing goes. I actually, before I knew better, I put a competition clutch in, which I love the competition clutches, but I used their throwout bearing, and their throwout bearing literally disintegrated, and it broke the little snub, like the little snout that the throwout bearing rides on. So I do have a little lathe. I plan on getting a little chunk of aluminum stock and machining that, and then welding it back onto that case. Just pull it apart and put a new seal in there because I'm sure it'd burn that seal out welding it up. But go through it, do that. Then I'll have a transmission. I already have the axles. I have an engine. I've got a few engines that I could use. I will have to make a front cross member. Sorry, getting a little bit stuffy here. There's a center cross member that runs from the radiator support back in. I think it ties into the subframe here. Make that out of like a tubing, like chromoly tubing or something like that. That way, because the way that the 2G transmission mount is over about 2 or 3 inches from where it would mount with a 6-bolt. Other than that, I can bolt it in. The back of the engine has a spot for an engine mount. The 2G trans mounts. The driver's side, the engine mount, that all mounts to the 7-bolt block. The only thing is that front roll stop. So, I mean, it's not a huge deal. I ran into it before when I had the 7-bolt in it. So, just plan to do it a little bit more professional versus what I had in it before. Cleaned up where we had the short route punishment front mount on this. This car, before I got it, was cut out a little bit, but I had to cut it out a little bit bigger, so I'm just going to clean that up. Where the subframe actually bolts to the cross member, one bolt broke off. I had actually cut it open before, tried to fix it, but I don't know what I was thinking. I screwed it up somehow, so cut that back open, fix inside of there, and then get it welded back together, clean it up really nice, get it ready to mount the hood latch assembly. Not really. I'm trying to think. We got the engine, I've got a trans, I've got a wiring harness, the body wiring harness, the engine wiring harness. I don't have DSM Link, which I would probably want to get eventually, but just to get it running, I wouldn't have a huge turbo on it anyways, or go crazy, just get it driving. So I do have turbo ECUs, I've got injectors, radiator. I have plenty of stock radiators, but I may try and find an aluminum radiator for it. Hoses, stuff like that. Exhaust. I don't have an exhaust, but I could fab one. Let's see. An intercooler setup. I would definitely need an intercooler, but I am probably going to fab my own intercooler to get the end tanks to fit, because I want to use 1GA Talon fog lights on this. I think that'd look really cool because the lasers never came with the fog lights on the 1GAs. Just a little touch that I think would look cool and still fit a front mount right in beside those lights. Trying to think. Not a whole lot really. Go through weather stripping, maybe try and source some from a car, get a hold of, Performance Part Out, any of those guys that park these cars out, and see if there's some good weather stripping, replace the weather strip. I think I am missing some of the front lenses. I'll have to source those, but I do have the pop-up assemblies. Everything is good to go in that aspect, and yeah, it's just going to be get it done. That's the only thing. Take my time, do the bodywork correctly, and that will be the plan on this. Here's a set of wheels that were given to me for doing some work on another DSM. Not too sure how I feel about them. However, the color plan that I have for the car and the wheels, I don't know, like a dark gold or maybe even a little darker bronze might possibly go with my color combo, or even a gunmetal possibly. Me and my friend are talking right now actually. I think it's gonna look pretty cool. It's a car that, or a color that never came on this car. It isn't a Chrysler product car color, so obviously it never would have come on it, but the color in general never did come on the 1G lasers. It came on the 2G or the 1GB lasers, but it'll still be a different shade of the color. So I really am excited to see how it'll turn out. I think it's going to be pretty awesome. So, but this wheel isn't my first choice. However, I think I'll be able to make them work and get some new tires on them, clean them up, maybe re-powder coat them, and I think they'll work okay for the time being. It's been sitting a long time. The backing plates on the brakes are pretty shot, but the major issues, and I wouldn't even consider it major because I've had to do serious rust repair that's nothing compared to this, but it's this little spot here. It'll probably go somewhere in there on the back side, kind of, but it should be a pretty quick fix, and then it's exactly the same on the other side. A little bit of a spot there. Just cut until you get into good metal and make a patch panel that fits it and move on. That's the two biggest spots. As far as the rest of the rockers go, I mean, they're super solid. Bottoms of the fenders are even really nice. From what I understand, this car was a Texas car for the majority of its life. I have owned it since 2012, and as sad as it is to say, I've driven it, but I never actually had it on the road. I never driven it in the winter. I never even really drove it much. I think I maybe put a majority of 40-50 miles on it. I was fighting, it was a huge learning curve early in my turbo DSM days. This was my first turbo DSM, so I was running into a lot of wiring issues that the previous owner had switched pins on the ECU, and it was just a nightmare, and I was trying to figure it all out. And then, as I said, the throwout bearing destroyed itself, and subsequently led to me pretty much parting the car out. Down the driver's side rocker here. It's all really nice. The rear twist beam, I was hitting it a little bit with a needle scaler. I'll go through, knock all the big chunks off. I'll get new backing plates for the brakes, maybe upgrade the rear brakes. I don't know what the plan is on that yet, but go through, clean all that up, drop the tank, clean up like the sending unit and everything. But overall, where these things normally rust really bad, it's pretty dang solid. Just do a quick walk around here. Need to pull the steering shaft there with that little rubber grommet, I guess. Pull that out, pull the fuel and brake lines, pull the cowl seal there. I will pull the fenders off, but for now, this one here, I sanded down a while back. But pull all this trim, pull the windows seal here. The sunroof, I'm pretty sure it's an aftermarket sunroof. I don't think that was a stock. I will probably end up keeping that for now until I can get a carbon fiber roof, which is the end goal. Carbon roof and a carbon hood. I won't go carbon hatch. I'm not too worried about going lightweight or anything like that. It's going to be more of a show aspect car. I'm not looking for any huge power numbers. Just make it nice. Make it a respectable laser, since they weren't exactly the most popular choice. That was like the Eclipses and the Talons, but take it up in the air, and overall it's a really, really solid car. I'll show you the 2 spots of rust that I have to fix. I am not ready for winter. Here we are, bottom side is all stripped down. Fuel tank lines, rear dead axle is out. I believe that it has been what they call like oil coated or Z-Bart. I don't know. I know it's a company that does it, but I don't know what I'm gonna do. If I want to go the similar route and redo that, there's some spots that I want to touch on the rust. I mean, it's not horrible. Somebody welded a bracket there at some point in time. I'll take and grind that off. Overall though, my couple spots from earlier in the video that I showed, get working on those. But up here you can see where I hit it with some degreaser and it doesn't come off that easily, but I took some Scotch-Brite and some citrus, the Purple Power citrus cleaner, and it takes it off okay. I think I'm gonna debate on if I want to do the entire bottom side of this thing. It'd take forever and a lot of materials in that degreaser, but to do it right and undercoat it correctly, like with a rubberized undercoat, probably should make sure that it's all off there. So I guess I'm gonna have to decide if I want to stay with this style undercoat and just hit it with another layer, or strip it all off and then hit it with a rubberized undercoat. I know the car is getting repainted no matter what, so I kind of wanted to start with the bottom side, get the bottom side and inside the wheel wells and the fenders and everything all completely done, then move to the top side and do paint work in that aspect and do the actual paint job. But I guess I've got some thinking to do, some research to do, see how easy it is to get rid of this. Maybe find something that's that will take that stuff off easily. If so, then I'll just go ahead and completely strip the bottom side and then actually undercoat it with rubberized undercoat. But now it's to the top side, and the most stressful thing I really was trying to put off to the last minute is actually strip the entire car, pull the fenders off. I don't think I'm going to pull the doors off right away. I probably will pull them off though. Finish pulling the seats and the carpet. The dash is just sitting in there. It's actually out of another car. Along the lines of me parting this car out, I sold the dash out of it. So I've got to pull that out, pull the window trim, pull all that, try and save it, be gentle, as gentle as possible. And it's one of those things that doesn't exist anymore. So maybe try and find somebody that has a new old stock, search the part number online and see if it's available. But worst comes to worst, I'll have to reuse it, like the weather strip, the window belt molding that goes along the bottom of the windows there, all the window trim, all that is no longer available through Mitsubishi. So it's one of those things where it's kind of a stressful part, and doing a good job or a good, paint job, restoration, it's one of those things that even if you wanted to put new, you're gonna have to source and see if somebody has it, left over, since you can't buy it anymore. Yeah, it's getting there. It makes me cringe pulling it this far apart, just because I know that it's been so long since I started on it, and I know that I've got parts scattered all over for it. Not that it's a huge issue. I mean, I'll be able to source everything that I need, but it's just going to make it even that more of a pain. But the next video, I'll probably cut this one off here. The next video, I will start stripping down the body and pull all the trim and everything. This was all stuff that I added before. This one actually broke in transit. I have another one to replace it, so I'm gonna stick with that spoiler even though the Laser didn't come with it. Yeah, but that will wrap up this video of tearing apart the rest of the bottom side of the Laser and getting that's everything that was inside the car. So kind of get it ready to pull the rest of the interior out, and there is still some more stuff in there to pull out. But yep, that'll do it for this video. See everyone next time.